that even mean, Bowers Game Corner?
Ahoy there, YouTube! I'm back again for another board game video, and today I'm very excited to point a spotlight at the board game Clue, but in particular, the top 5 Clue board game spin-offs. Because when Clue came out in 1949, it was an immediate and massive hit, spawning over 50 different versions of it, different spin-off games, and even an awesome movie that you'd still need to check out. But this list is going to, in particular, focus on spin-off games. So there will be no games featured in this top 5 that are just themed version of Clue because they are, in general, the exact same game as the original 1949 Clue. How did I compile this list? Well, I headed over to BoardGameGeek.com, which is the most comprehensive board game website on the planet, and listed all the different Clue games based on their geek rating, which is based on actual reviews from people who've played the games. So number 5 is the 2008 release Clue Discover the Secrets. Also, in different parts of the world, it was called Cluedo Discover the Secrets. In this version of the game, each person has been given a unique power, which may only be used once per game. There is an intrigue deck, which may or may not grant a player an extra action. Those intrigue cards, which do not grant an extra action, are called clock cards. The player who draws the 8th clock card is eliminated from play. Any player who draws a clock card thereafter is also eliminated. The 1 on one of the dice has been replaced by a question mark, and when a player rolls a question mark, that's when they draw an intrigue card. A fun fact about the game is that one of its designers, Rob Daviau, went on to also develop Risk Legacy, which is one of the most popular Risk board game spin-offs. Unfortunately, this board game is currently out of print. Which moves us to our number 4 game, the 2003 release Clue FX. The Clue FX electronic talking Clue game brings the mystery to life with electronic speech and sound effects. In Clue FX, the body of Miles Meadowbrook, John Body's trusted attorney, has just been found, and it's up to you to find out who did it, where, and with what weapon. The butler will help narrate your mystery and keep track of every move you make. When he calls out your turn, move your pawn and click on one of the 9 different locations to search for clues. Did it happen in the swimming pool? Or the garden? Search the grounds for your favorite Clue suspects, such as Miss Scarlet and Colonel Mustard, and pick up additional hints. Perhaps they'll be able to show you that it wasn't the garden shears or the horseshoe that was used in the crime. Keep track of the clues you find to help you solve the Meadowbrook mystery. A new mystery begins every time you play. Another fun fact is the designer of this game, Craig Van Ness, also designed one of the best Risk spin-off games with Risk's 2210 AD. Small world. Clue FX is once again, unfortunately, out of print on Amazon. Moving on to number 3, which is probably the oddest one on our list, we have Clue. Well, let me explain. The new version of Clue was released in 2012, and it was a refresh of the classic Clue and Cluedo, a new character, and also including 2-player or 2-team rules. Like the original game, the aim is to find out who committed the murder, which weapon they used, and where in the mansion they did it. However, this version of the game plays faster than older versions of Clue with the help of bigger spaces on the board, special red cards, and a new layout of the mansion so you can walk between rooms. All new artwork brings this classic murder mystery to life with a high level of detail. Little fun fact about the designer of this game, Patrick Otley, he's now currently a senior concept designer for LEGO.
Luckily, this one is still in print. You can get it for $9.99 on Amazon at the time of writing.
Moving on to number 2, we have the 1988 release, Clue Master Detective. The first major different aspect about Clue Master Detective is the fact it goes up to 10 players. From the publishers, they said this is the same as the basic Clue game, but with more of everything. Was it Madame Rose in the carriage house with the poison, Monsieur Brunette in the trophy room with the horseshoe, or was it our old friend Colonel Mustard who done it in the library with his trusty service revolver? The manor now has a total of 12 possible murder locations, both outdoors and indoors, with secret passages plus new snoop spaces that let you broaden your investigation. A vial of poison and a horseshoe bring the number of weapons up to 8, and the devious bunch of suspects has grown to 10. One fun fact about this game, it was actually called Super Cluedo in other parts of the world.
And Clue fans once again rejoice. This one is in print from Winning Move Games. You can get it right now.
However, with that out of the way, we now can move to the number 1, the numero uno, the best Clue spin-off board game of all time, the 1991 classic, Clue the Great Museum Caper. Clue the Great Museum Caper mixed up the formula first by adding up to 7 players, but really flipped it on its head by turning the game into what's called a semi-cooperative game, which means one player was playing as a thief against the rest of the other players who take the role of detectives. As a thief, you would secretly plot your movements around a private art museum attempting to steal paintings. As you go, the detectives take turns trying to find you using line of sight, video cameras, or motion detectors. However, the thief can deactivate the cameras and even shut the power off to the entire museum. This was a 1991 Mensa Select winner and was also selected by the Family Fun magazine as one of the best games. No fun fact here, as unfortunately, once again, this game is out of print. But those are the top 5 Clue spin-off board games. Have you played any of them? Which ones are your favorites? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, if you're interested in some Clue spin-off games that are available to be purchased on Amazon, click on the card up there or the links down in the description. If you enjoyed what I did, please give this a like, consider subscribing, or even checking out the Patreon. And as always, thanks for your time, YouTube.